It was a warm and sunny midsummer's evening. I had just come back after a long day of playing with my friend, and as the sun began to set, my only goal was to get to my nice, warm, and cozy bed. I hung up my adventure hat and placed my sturdy and reliable dagger beside my bed, because, just in case. As I began to close my eyes, suddenly I heard my door open and my brother Devin walked in. Okay, so don't be mad. Is the last thing anyone wants to hear before they go to sleep. So I saw a spider, and I'm like, so what? I see spiders all the time. A bit of background. At that time, we lived in the woods, and it was not uncommon to see freakish insects, bloodthirsty animals, and creatures of the night. But they didn't keep me up at night because of one reason. They were outside, and I was inside. I was protected by the impenetrable walls of this sturdy fortress. But what my brother said made my blood run cold. I saw a spider in your room. Okay, so I wasn't safe from freakish insects, bloodthirsty animals, and creatures of the night. Great. So my brother explains to me that he saw an enormous, fuzzy spider in my room. So he tried to kill it, and when he stomped on it, it exploded into a million little microscopic baby spiders that crawled every which way. And he's got a smile on his face as he says, so the spider I killed was actually a mother spider that had its babies crawling all over it. That's why it was so big and fuzzy. Interesting, right? I'm petrified. But I managed to whisper between a locked jaw, so did you kill them all? I sure hope so. Good night. I can hardly articulate the terror I felt in that moment, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so have you ever watched a spider or insect or parasite documentary and started feeling itchy all over? Like there could be a spider crawling on me right now feeling? Yeah, imagine that times 100. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt skittering little legs all over me. Too afraid to even blink for too long, I laid in my bed motionless, waiting for dawn. I knew at this rate I would get no sleep whatsoever, and to make matters worse, I had to get up really early in the morning. I needed all the sleep I could get. My imagination came up with every possible way I could be devoured by these spiders, when out of nowhere a verse from the book of Psalms came into my thoughts. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. You know, this psalm was written by a man who, when face to face with freakish insects, bloodthirsty animals, and creatures of the night, stood his ground and was without fear, because he knew that God was with him. Who was this man? Let's find out. Saul, the champion of the Israelites and the king of Israel, found out that the wicked Philistine army was advancing to attack his kingdom. Full of courage, he led his great army to meet the Philistines in war. Saul and the Israelites camped in the valley of Elah and drew up their battle lines to meet the Philistines. The Philistines occupied one hill and the Israelites the other, with the valley between them, when suddenly Goliath of Gath came out of the Philistine camp, and he was no ordinary man. He was the champion of the Philistines. Oh, and he was a giant. And basically he said, "Today I defy the armies of Israel. Send out your champion and let's fight. 1-on-1. The army confidently looked to their hero, Saul, and he was stricken with fear. The Israelites, now consumed with fear, hid from Goliath as he laughed and mocked them. And this continued for about a month and a half. Now David was just a kid during this dark time, and all of David's brothers had gone with the armies to fight. But David was left at home to look after his father's sheep, which wasn't a bad thing, it was just really boring most of the time. But one day his dad told David to take some food to his brothers. So David packed up his things and set out to find his brothers on the front lines. Upon arriving at the camp, David now saw Goliath as he hurled insults at the Israelite army. All the soldiers cowered in fear, but David wasn't afraid. He was disgusted by the words Goliath was spouting. So David went to King Saul and had a conversation that went something like this. You don't need to be afraid. I've got a plan. Okay, what's your plan? I'm gonna fight him. See, when you said you had a plan, Saul, I've killed lions and bears. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but you're like a kid, and Goliath has been a warrior since he was like a kid? Yeah, but God's with me. Hey, you can't just wait. If you're just gonna go, at least take a sword or some armor. No, but why? It looks uncomfortable. You know, it's not supposed to be comfortable. Hey, wait. David went to the brook and pulled out 5 smooth stones and put it in his shepherd's bag, and off he went to face the Philistine champion. You've defied the armies of Israel.
Am I a dog?
Pardon?
Am I a dog?
What?
Am I a dog?
I don't know what you want me to say. Okay, well, you've defied the armies of the living God. I come against you in the name.
With sticks?
I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty. I will defeat you
With sticks?
That day the Philistine champion was defeated, and the kingdom of Israel got a new champion. David not only went on to become a mighty warrior, but later Israel's new king. And he was the one who went on to write, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." My fear slowly disappeared as I thought about those words, and before I knew it, it was morning. And I had slept great, and there were no spiders in sight. So here's the challenge. When you're in a dark valley, be confident that God is with you. Don't let fear control you. Be courageous. After all, just like God was with me and David, He's with you. And don't forget, your greatest adventure is ahead.